Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! This week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. It's Mardi Gras season, y'all, and this is the first of 4 Mardi Gras episodes. Now, y'all probably wondering, Vic, isn't Mardi Gras canceled? Well, no. Mardi Gras season is still in effect. Now, the parades due to the COVID-19 pandemic have been canceled, but that's just it. But here's the thing. There's so much more to Mardi Gras than just the parades. Now, make no mistake about it, the parades play a huge part in every Mardi Gras season. All throughout the state of Louisiana. Everyone attends these parades. They go out and catch beads and coins and candy or cups or whatever. But there are 3 principles to Mardi Gras, and they're represented in all 3 colors. Now, green, which is what I'm wearing on this episode, represents faith. And then gold represents power, and purple represents justice. Now, this is a green Mardi Gras Comic Hero tee. You can see the Mardi Gras Argyle pattern and speech bubble, and inside, and then on the sleeves you have the universal symbol of the word faith. Now, I'm a man of faith. Everyone who knows me knows that I am. And I know that it stinks that, we don't have the parades and everything, but I've always been taught to make the best out of every situation. And even in doing so, throughout certain segments of this episode, and then the next 3 episodes, you're going to hear some Cajun, Second Line, and Zydeco songs that are original compositions of mine. Very excited about this, very excited to do these episodes. So with all that excitement, let's kick things off like I usually do and give away a free t-shirt. Alright, last week's episode I asked, who was the first villain the Fantastic Four ever faced? Now, I gave some hints on last week's episode. The first hint was along with the members of the Fantastic Four, this villain made his debut in Fantastic Four #1 in 1961. The second hint, this villain lives and rules in an underground kingdom called Subterranea. The third hint, this villain rules over a colony of human mole hybrids called Moloids. And then the fourth and final hint, this villain's real name is Harvey Rupert Elder. Well, the correct answer is Mole Man. And 8 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Kaylee Pardue from West Monroe, Louisiana. So congratulations, Kaylee. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Joker question. Which actor and musician was considered to play the role of the Joker in the 1989 Batman movie before the role went to Jack Nicholson? Now, here are the hints, and I'm expecting everyone that's musically inclined, especially in the rock genre, to get this answer right. Alright, here's the first hint. He was famous for his duet with Bing Crosby on the Little Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth. Second hint, this actor and musician released albums like Let's Dance, The Man Who Sold the World, Aladdin Sane, and Black Star. The third hint, oh, by the way, after that last hint, I should really stop because a lot of y'all probably didn't figure it out already. But here's the third hint. Third hint, this actor and musician has had #1 songs like Let's Dance, Fame, and Changes. And then the fourth and final hint was that this actor and musician was married to Somali model Iman from 1992 until his death in 2016. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in the drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now Sharon Hart from Monroe, Louisiana has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features a Batman villain who controls plants going up against a DC hero who is from the swamp. Representing DC, we have Poison Ivy. And also representing DC, we have Swamp Thing. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Poison Ivy versus Swamp Thing. Poison Ivy is a trained botanist who possesses secretion of floral toxins and mind-control pheromones, immunity to toxins and pathogens, the ability to mentally control the growth of plants via connection to the green, and hypnosis via lip contact. Swamp Thing possesses superhuman strength and durability, plant manipulation, plant physiology, and elasticity. Who will win? Swamp Thing is well aware of what Poison Ivy is capable of. He tries to manipulate surrounding plants to quickly take down Poison Ivy, but the latter turns the plants on the former. Poison Ivy then generates some offense by using her mind-controlling pheromones, which leaves Swamp Thing in a catatonic state. She then ends the fight by mentally causing Swamp Thing to shrink down to the size of a pea shell. Poison Ivy wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Thank you, Sharon Hart, for that fight. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there are three things we're going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and here's the first. Now, I recently watched all 3 episodes so far of WandaVision, and let me tell you, I know exactly what's happening. Now, what's going on in WandaVision in the first 3 episodes, they're treating each episode as if it were a half-hour sitcom. The first one from the 50s, the first one from the 60s, and then the first one from the 70s. And Wanda has no idea what's going on, but I can tell you that it's only a matter of time before she does, because all us comic book nerds knows exactly what this is similar to. This is similar to the miniseries from 2005 and 2006 called House of M. Now this is where, in this miniseries, the Scarlet Witch, under the influence of both Magneto and Quicksilver, end up altering the entire Marvel universe to where the mutants are the dominant species and the humans are the endangered species. And then it ended with Wanda finally snapping out of it, and then kind of re-altering the Marvel universe back to what it was, but one difference. All but 198 mutants lost their powers, and it only took 3 words to change it. And those 3 words, no more mutants. And I think she did this mainly because, it was her father and her brother's doing. But I don't know if something like this is going to happen in WandaVision, but it's sure looking that way. I mean, I love some of the campiness in all 3 episodes. It reminds me of like TV shows that I grew up watching old episodes of, like Father Knows Best, My 3 Sons, Bewitched, the Brady Bunch, and the Partridge Family. I really like the vibe that's going on with it, and I can't wait for episode 4. Really good stuff. All right, now the second thing is that acclaimed writer Al Ewing is going to take over writing duties for Guardians of the Galaxies, beginning with issue number 13. Now he's making a way for departing writer now he's coming in for departing writer Donny Cates, who also writes Venom. And all the returning are popular characters that are going to be in it, beginning with number 13, are characters like Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket, and Groot. Now there's going to be some new members like Wiccan and Hulkling, and then also the Richard Rider Nova is going to be part of it, along with some more members that are going to be named later. Now, at first, a few years ago, when I read Captain America and the Mighty Avengers, which Al Ewing wrote, I didn't really care that much for Al Ewing. Actually, it was Mighty Avengers. It wasn't Captain America and the Mighty Avengers. But I didn't really care for him that much. I didn't care for him until he started writing the Immortal Hulk, and he turned that into a horror comic. And even now, I still. Yes, I do literally get the crap scared out of me whenever I read that book. But he's also proven to be to write some great intergalactic books. Especially that of he co-wrote Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, not Infinity Gauntlet, but Infinity Wars, which was a miniseries that came a few years ago. I mean, Al Ewing has really proven that he's just about as good a writer as anyone. Can't wait for issue number 13. It's going to be fun. All right, and the third and final thing is that Damian Wayne is going to get his own book and a brand new anti-hero name as soon as DC the DC Universe books resume in March. Now, to tell this story, I would have to go all the way back to 2016, with DC Rebirth. Now, the previous Teen Titans team had disbanded, and the Damian Wayne Robin had decided, you know what, it's time, the Teen Titans need to be here, but we're going to do things a little differently than not just what the Titans do, but also what a lot of superheroes do. You see, Damian is about the most hard-headed superhero ever. I mean, I just hate to say this, but the kid's a bona fide jackass. I mean, I think in some cases, he's worse than Deadpool. I mean, in terms of morale. So he recruits all these members, but instead of beating up the bad guys and throwing them in prison, they beat up the bad guys and then throw them in this makeshift prison in this headquarters that they call Mercy Hall. And what they do is that they torture them, beat them, and then they even had a member who was a million-year-old genie who ended up mind wiping them. As I watched this, I knew it was only a matter of time until Batman had decided, okay, look, that's enough. This needs to stop. And in Teen Titans Annual number 2, that's exactly what happens. And he's like, look, you're my son. I don't condone at all what you're doing, but you're my son. And if you just come home to me and we can talk about this, then that'll be great. What does Damian do? Punches Batman in the face like he was a grown man. And then ripped off the Robin symbol and said, look, I don't want to be Robin anymore. All Robin ever stood for was he finally understood that, he really had no business being Robin. So, and in Detective Comics, there's there was a story arc that just ended where Batman gave him another chance. But see, here's the thing about Batman. How he treats Batman differently was because that's his son. But then what he has to remember is that he was, the first few years of life, he was raised by his mother, which is Talia al Ghul, who is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. And then when he was old enough to walk, he was trained in the League of Assassins by his own mother. So killing comes very naturally to him. Killing, torturing, all that stuff comes natural to him. So, and then there's a crossover series between Batman and Detective Comics coming right after Future State wraps up, called Demon or Detective. And what's going to happen in this is that Batman's going to give him one more chance, and of course Damian's going to say no, and that's going to pave the way for this new series. Now, we don't know what's going to be called. We have there's speculation that it may be even called Dark Detective, but that remains to be seen. I think it's going to be great. Now, I don't really condone. I mean, I don't really condone, Damien's behavior, but I just like, I still read because, not every superhero is made alike. I mean, Damien's even darker than his dear old dad, and can't wait to read. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Avengers number 41. Batman Catwoman number 2. Future State Immortal Wonder Woman number 1. Future State The Next Batman number 2. Future State Shazam number 1. Future State Catwoman number 1. Future State Superman Worlds of War number 1. Future State Nightwing number 1. The Legion of Superheroes number 12. Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 113. And finally, X-Force number 16. Alright, that's 12, which brings the total number of comics that I've brought since December of 1997 to 10,431. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which actor and musician was considered to play the role of the Joker in the 1989 Batman movie before the role went to Jack Nicholson? Now, here are the hints again. This actor and musician was famous for his duet with Bing Crosby on Little Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth. The second hint, this actor and musician has released albums like Let's Dance, Black Star, The Man Who Sold the World, and Aladdin Sane. The third hint, this actor and musician has had #1 songs like Fame, Changes, and Let's Dance. And then the fourth and final hint, this actor and musician was married to Somali model Iman from 1992 until his death in 2016. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Kaylee Pardue from West Monroe, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this week's episode. Alright, and speaking of next week's episode, it's going to be the second Mardi Gras episode, and I'm going to wear a purple Mardi Gras comic hero tee. Now, purple represents justice. And, and that's something that, the world, especially here in America, we could use a lot of, because there have been so many social injustices, and I don't know if y'all are, if anyone's been paying attention, but in the Pledge of Allegiance it says, "In liberty and justice for all," not just some, but all. And justice for all. And the road ahead for the show, of course, the next 3 episodes are Mardi Gras episodes. And I'm still trying to come up with some more stuff for the rest of February. And I know I'm going to come up with some stuff in March. I think I'm already set for what's to come in March. But if y'all can think of something that's going on in February, then please let me know. No one's ideas or suggestions never go on deaf ears with me. Alright, I'm Victor Noli on A Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 344. So until then, be safe, Be blessed. Be a hero.